You guys may be watching this tape because you did the same things I've done. You played back an old tape and it didn't work at all, and you've replaced this belt, which I've already done in this machine. And after we did that, the tapes played, but they were way too slow. And if you didn't try an old tape and realize it was too slow and you just recorded on a new tape, you might think it was working, because when you would play it back, the speed would be the same. But if you play back a tape that was recorded when the machine was working right years ago, then it might be playing back way too slow like ours was doing. And so after doing all, the belt repair and then discovering that it still was playing too slow on previously recorded tapes, we've been trying to figure out why. When we put the speed switch over here on the slow speed, it actually completely stopped. On the regular speed, it would, everything was turning, and it seemed to have plenty of power. It wasn't an issue of power or belt slippage. So what I eventually tracked it down to is it's these two adjustable resistances right here. And if you look closely on the circuit board, you can see the one says 2.4. That's one speed, and the one up here, it's obscured by these things, but it says 1.2. So as it turns out, these are the adjustment pots for the speed on these. And as this thing's aged over the years and resistance values have changed on the various components, that's why the speed's no longer correct. And one of the reasons I started thinking about that was when you look at this back, you can see this cutout here that's been glued in. When you look at the other side of it, you can see there were two little holes in this thing originally. So what seems apparent now is when this was made at the factory and it was fully assembled, the last thing they did before they glued this cover on was they had those two holes they could stick a screwdriver through. And they stuck a screwdriver through them and they adjusted these two pots, the one for the 2.4 speed and the one for the 1.2. They would have played a tape of known frequency, and then they would have adjusted these until a frequency meter listening to the output from the speaker would have recorded the frequency correctly. And so that's what we've done on this to get this right, so now it works properly. You can see this going down here. I don't know if you can see it, but when you turn this pot, it changes that speed a noticeable amount just by eyeball. And so when you play back if you have a previous recorded tape from when this was working right, you can just adjust these until the voice sounds right. If you don't have that, you're going to have to do like the factory did. You're going to have to get a tape that's got a known frequency recorded on it, play it back on this so you can play it back to a frequency analyzer and then adjust these pots so it's got the right frequency.